We don't want to be producers of cocoa. We want to be processors of cocoa.
Value addition in agriculture. Nigeria moves from cocoa production to processing. House of Representatives to probe non-remittance of 5% user charge to FEMA.
This law and every law made for our country will be obeyed.
They can get mortgages at single digits, that's below 10%.
Shelter deficit. Federal government provides single-digit mortgage to civil servants. Hello and thank you for joining us on NTA Network News at 9. I'm Lami Ali. Hingino John Adams will bring us stories from Lagos. And here with me in the studio is Musa Abubakar with updates from the business desk. So Musa, today is the first day of the working week. How did the market fare?
The equities market began the week in positive territory as oil prices surged by 4%.
Well, you stay back to get details on that. And of course, we have our sportsman who is going to feed us on the latest updates on sports. Ayo Deji Makinde. Ayo, tell us the updates you have.
Well, the Super Eagles of Nigeria are in Moscow, fresh from winning the Unity Cup tournament in London for an international friendly against the Russian national team.
Stay with the NTA for much more. Remember, you can join us on nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now, the federal government is committed to reviving the cocoa industry and the whole agricultural value chain in Nigeria with a target of moving the sector from mere producer to processor of cocoa on the global stage. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this during an audience with a delegation from the World Cocoa Foundation led by its president, Chris Vincent, as the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Revamping the nation's cocoa industry by the Tinubu administration is getting more support with the recent Federal Executive Council approval for the establishment of a National Cocoa Management Board. This meeting is part of broader initiatives to ensure that Nigeria moves from producer to a processor of cocoa by promoting sustainable cocoa farming and forest preservation.
We don't want to be producers of cocoa. We want to be processors of cocoa. Because a ton of cocoa might pay you $9,000 now, but processed cocoa will pay you $30,000. If you turn them into chocolate bars, that product, that 1 ton, might pay you $50,000. So we have the manpower. The average age of the nation is 17. We are very virile young men that are willing to work and are itching for opportunities. So I'm speaking from the heart. We are willing to partner with you, with your organization.
The Vice President pledged Nigeria's readiness to work with the World Cocoa Foundation, assuring that he will personally engage the governor of Taraba State to secure 10,000 hectares in Kurmi local government area of the state for the World Cocoa Foundation and other partners to expand their investment in the nation's cocoa industry.
They assisted Ivory Coast to be the #1 producer in the world. So that keys directly into the vision, the bold vision of Mr. President to transform the cocoa sector, to double or triple our production, to get us to where we were before and even move us further. And we cannot do it alone. We cannot do it in isolation. We will only do it through partnership, and this is the right entity to partner with.
We look forward to working together as we build out plans for the deforestation-free cocoa initiatives in Ondo and Cross River State, and also looking to the implementation of the National Cocoa Management Board and developing ways in which the sector can continue to grow in line with sustainable policies.
Meanwhile, Nigeria is actively pursuing a massive $25 billion undersea gas pipeline project to supply gas to Europe. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this during a meeting with the Vitol Group, the world's largest independent commodity trader, at the presidential villa, saying Nigeria's leadership transformation under President Tinubu represents an unprecedented opportunity for international investors. Vice President Shettima described Nigeria's gas sector as a beacon of stability and transparency amid global uncertainty. The Vice President urged Vitol to bring its considerable technical expertise and global influence to bear in advancing Nigeria's gas infrastructure and exports. Chief Financial Officer of Vitol Group, Jeffrey Delepina, said the Vitol has a long-term commitment to Nigeria, as the company is currently enjoying a favorable business relationship with Nigerian companies and the government. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
We now move to the legislature as the House of Representatives launches an investigation into alleged non-remittance and implementation of the 5% user charge on petroleum products for road maintenance as contained in the Federal Road Maintenance Agency Amendment Act 2007. As the inauguration of an ad hoc committee investigating the levy, the House insists it will get to the root of the matter. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ekpen reports on this and other engagements at Parliament.
Section 14 of the FEMA Amendment Act 2007 mandates the allocation of 5% user charge from petrol and diesel pump prices to the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency and the state maintenance agencies in the proportion of 40% and 60% respectively. Non-compliance with this provision by relevant agencies led the House to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate remittance of the levy. Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, says revenue shortfall has worsened road conditions and increased maintenance costs nationwide.
While the agency requires an estimated amount of 880 billion naira annually to maintain our 36,000 kilometers of roads, diligent implementation and timely remittance of the 5% user charge are paramount.
This law and every law made for our country will be obeyed.
Ask the relevant questions and scan through the necessary documents to establish how much has accrued from the collection of a 5% user charge from the date of commencement of the law till the time of this investigation.
The templates were not included in the pricing template that's being used, and authorities has not collected any money on it.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has given the National Office of the West African Examination Council 24 hours to submit a detailed report on the glitches that led to late-night conduct of its English language examination recently. During an investigative hearing, WAEC officials attributed the glitches in some parts of the country to leakage of examination questions.
Sincere, deep-rooted apologies for what happened in the conduct of English language examination.
Monies were appropriated by Parliament for the conduct of this examination. We need to know the immediate and remote causes of the woeful conduct of the examinations.
WAEC also admitted that the late-night conduct of the English language examination only occurred in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Mitari Ekpen, NTA News.
The 2025 first ordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament has ended in Abuja with a call for regional peace, security and people-driven developments. President of ECOWAS Commission, Omar Aliu Tuari, presented the annual midterm report of the State of the Community to the House of Parliament. ECOWAS Parliament correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
2 weeks of debate now is over, with hopeful resolutions for better West Africa.
De la présente session, pour vous réitérer ma sincère gratitude pour la confiance.
Despite challenges believed to be facing the ECOWAS community, characterized by political upheavals in 3 member states as well as a slowdown in global economy, the region is witnessing economic growth.
The growth will be driven mainly by the 4 largest economies, namely Senegal 6.5%, Ghana 4.0%, Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire. Inflationary pressures in ECOWAS is expected to ease slightly in 2025 to 19.7%, compared to 24.8% in 2024.
Other key areas in the year under review include the restoration of democratic transition in Guinea, operationalization of ECOWAS standby force to fight terrorism, single currency program, and promotion of common market and private sector development in the region.
Our people want a safe and secure environment.
We have been told that countries do not fully respect their commitments to pay the community levies.
The state legislature amended its rules of procedures to adapt to current realities and improve transparency in decision-making process. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Every nation reaches moments that call not just for action, but reflection, a pause to honor progress. That was the mood in Abuja as a group known as the Renewed Hope Ambassadors gathered to mark 2 years of President Bola Tinubu's administration, a period they say has been defined by impact. Deborah Bolabubu tells us the details.
A celebration of leadership and legacy of President Bola Tinubu's 2 years in office. The Renewed Hope Ambassadors rolled out the drums, applauding what they describe as visible strides across sectors.
This is not just an event, it is a statement. It is a salute to bold leadership, relentless advocacy, and the many hands building the Nigeria of tomorrow. Yes, we're not out of the woods yet, but we have turned that corner, and the light at the end of the tunnel is now in sight. The achievements recorded so far are too numerous, and they have literally touched all facets of our national life.
In just 2 years, we have seen the wheels of reform turning boldly and deliberately from the decisive removal of fuel subsidy to the unification of the exchange rates, from the revitalization of critical infrastructure to renewed hopes in education, healthcare, agriculture, and sustainable economic growth and the development that this administration has dared to take.
It was a time of light entertainment, all in the spirit of the Renewed Hope agenda. In Abuja, Deborah Balagubu, NTA News.
The federal government, through its Regional Development Ministry, says it will sustain the robust partnership with the Northeast governors to reposition the region to become a beacon of recovery, resilience and prosperity. Minister of State for Regional Development, Ubamegari Amadou, made this commitment when he presided over the inauguration and handing over of some impactful projects executed by the Northeast Development Commission in Yobe State. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Since its inception, the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, has been actively intervening in critical areas to accelerate the sub-region's recovery. To build on these efforts, the Minister of State for Regional Development, accompanied by senior officials of the Commission, visited Yobe State, where he unveiled several transformative projects proposed for execution by the Commission, aimed to boost the economic growth and development of the sub-region.
I must commend the forward-looking vision of the NEDC management in planning and pursuing bold transformative development projects such as the proposed Northeast Regional Airline.
As part of our empowerment for youth and women, we have built or established 18 IC centers across the Northeast, and you will have 3.
What you have mentioned also is the various empowerment packages we provided in the areas of irrigation, tailoring, painting, handset repairs, animal husbandry, among others.
During his visit, The minister presided over the inauguration of the NEDC state office, designed to provide a conducive working environment for the personnel of the commission. Additionally, he inaugurated and handed over several facilities, including an ICT resource center, a solar-powered borehole to enhance water supply, and a 250-seater lecture theater at Yobe State University aimed at facilitating teaching and learning. The Minister of State for Regional Development, flanked by the NEDC Managing Director, also inspected the ongoing construction of a 450-capacity multipurpose hall at the Government Girls Unity College Damaturu, as well as handed over building materials to the state officials for distribution to flood victims across the state. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
You're watching the network news on NTA. We now pause to bring you some messages. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has again demonstrated his love for the less privileged and the needy in society. The latest of the president's kind gesture is the donation of 900 bags of 50 kg rice and 10 cows through the office of the First Lady to the Abuja Muslim community. Abdullahi Ajia witnessed the distribution of the items by the Abuja National Mosque.
It's just few days to this year's Eid al-Adha, and here at the Abuja National Mosque, it's hope renewed with obvious joy and smiles, occasioned by the love of President Tinubu to the less privileged Muslims in Abuja. With an organized model of distribution, individuals, religious groups, disability communities, and the 6 area councils got their share of the donation.
It was sent to us for Salah celebration, definitely. It was sent 2 weeks, as I said, but we delayed it so that people who will get it will be able to use it for the purpose of the aid.
Wherever they are taking this money from, may Allah replenish their purse and make our nation a better place to stay, so that all of us will be happy with each other.
People are going with bag of rice, food package, meat and everything. It's part of helping.
This gesture by the first family has become consistent, in which Islamic clerics say elicits Allah's blessings and attracts great reward. Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Now, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has warned the Nigerian contingents for this year's pilgrimage against violating safety guidelines issued by the Saudi authorities on the predicted extreme heat during the forthcoming outing of the pilgrims at Arafat. The chairman of the commission, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman, gave the warning when he visited some pilgrims at their hotels in Mecca. Correspondent Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
In light of the extreme temperatures expected at the holy sites during this year's Hajj, the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah recently issued some heat-related guidelines to the pilgrims. The guidelines, among other things, require the pilgrims to remain inside their designated tents from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Arafat Day and to avoid venturing to Jabal Ar-Rahma or Masjid Namira during these hours for their safety. The chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman, while on an inspection visit to the Nigerian pilgrims at their hotels in Mecca, warned them against violating the safety guidelines.
Temperature is not normal for this year. So also we advise them to continue drinking water. If there is necessary to be out, let them go together with their water in their hand. Allah bless our arrangement. We make ourselves like one family. We are working together. We are working as a team, not individually.
The Nakon Medical Mission for the 2025 Hajj advises the Nigerian pilgrims to remain hydrated and to avoid unnecessary exposure to sun as they prepare for the forthcoming major Hajj rituals. From the holy city of Mecca in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has launched an enterprise content management system, a platform designed to revolutionize how government's information is created, stored, accessed and shared in order to reduce paperwork. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pati, highlights the importance of such reforms in enhancing service delivery across the health sector.
An implementation of this to achieve the vision of system that actually endures over time, that transforms not only the service, but also the country, by a government being able to deliver efficiently and effectively.
Adopting the ECM platform, the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare joins a growing family of ministries, departments, and agencies who have embraced digitalization as the way forward for an efficient, transparent, and responsive civil service.
The initiative underscores federal government's push for sustainable and system-wide reform. The Ministry of Police Affairs has taken a significant step towards enhancing healthcare services for its staff with the inauguration of a staff clinic. Security correspondent Francis Foom reports that the inauguration of the clinic by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry aligns with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which prioritizes the health, safety, and overall well-being of personnel across key national institutions.
Staffs go to hospitals, spend long hours in hospitals, and their productivity is lower. But when you provide a clinic, they can go to the clinic and have treatment. Shorter waiting time in the clinic, they are more productive. In the clinic, we have provided good medical laboratory equipment, digitalized medical laboratory equipment. We have copper doctors there, we have copper medical laboratory scientists, we have copper pharmacists, and the medical treatment they are going to have is free of charge.
He notes that the newly inaugurated clinics are equipped to provide primary healthcare services, medical consultations, and basic emergency care to reduce health-related absenteeism among staff. Now, the Nigerian Air Force has rolled out a series of transformative initiatives to boost morale, enhance well-being, and improve operational efficiency across its units. This includes a 100% increase in ration cash allowance as part of the 2025 budget, substantial insurance payouts under a newly introduced group personnel accident insurance policy, and large-scale distribution of new uniforms and accoutrements, as well as an upward review of the monthly electricity subsidy for Sam Esnan Air Force Base. Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimene Jodame, indicates that the initiative were unveiled by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, during the commissioning of a newly remodeled 160-en-suite airmen's accommodation at Sam Esnan Air Force Base in Lagos. Air Marshal Abubakar also announced that the NAF is actively engaging with the Defense Headquarters to review the Armed Forces Manual of Financial Administration with a view to enhancing the overall welfare package. Earlier, the Air Force officer commanding Logistics Command, Air Vice Marshal Adeniran Ademuwagun, expressed gratitude to the Chief of the Air Staff for his unwavering commitments to personnel welfare. We now go to our Lagos studios, where Hingino is standing by with stories from in and around Lagos. Hingino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Juma Lami, and welcome to Lagos. Ensuring digital inclusion for schools in rural, underserved, and unserved communities in Nigeria will go a long way in creating a viable and empowered population that is not limited by location. Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy stated this at a stakeholders engagement on the Universal Service Provision Fund Impact Alliance in Lagos. Joel Pupola has the report.
Established by the federal government, the USPF main objective is ensuring ICT access for all Nigerians regardless of status and geographical location. Education sector is one area this goal can be speedily achieved. There have been many interventions of the Universal Service Provision Fund since 2007. The USPF has invested in digital infrastructure, funding over 2,500 education projects nationwide. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, says the engagement with ICT and education experts is to ensure sustenance of the project.
Whatever we learn from this, if we're able to make it work for Nigeria, will then inspire every other thing that USPF does. Because we also invest in health, right? We try to create connectivity gap in rural areas.
The USPF Secretary, Yomiaru Shafe, is optimistic that engagement and suggestions of experts will serve as a catalyst for better implementation.
Universal Service Provision Fund, it comes in to bridge the gap where it seems a bit difficult for people to probably, if it's not commercially viable or something, people don't go there. But we, the Universal Service Provision Fund, we are social in nature.
The stakeholder engagement is expected to guide the path to digital inclusion and ICT access for all Nigerians. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And the Nigeria Customs Service and its Benin Republic counterpart have deepened synergy to digitize and harmonize cross-border trade through SIGMAT and an ECOWAS project that aims to facilitate trade and transport within the region by implementing an interconnected system for managing goods on transit. Joel Pupola again reports that the controller of customs in both countries agreed that the initiative will enhance trade and block revenue leakages.
It is a major leap forward for Nigeria and Benin Republic, with Semekrake border now expected to be a beehive of trade facilitation, courtesy of the SIGMAT connectivity and ECOWAS project that is now gaining traction, with each free movement of goods, and the custom administrations of the two countries have agreed to deepen synergy towards ensuring the success of the initiative. Controller General Nigeria Customs Service Bashir Adeniyi says SIGMAT reflects Nigeria's strategic ambition to align with global best practice and modernize trade along the corridor. The CG says the technology will be deployed to other border posts in the country.
We have seen the possibility of fraud, diversion, when you manage transit, even in developed countries. And the system that we have put in place is resilient enough, is strong enough to take care of those challenges. We've seen it work in 7 other customs administrations within this corridor. We have automated our processes and our procedures, and that we will also need to carry along all our stakeholders on both sides.
For the Benin Republic Customs, the move will eliminate fraud and other criminal activities which will encourage trade and investment.
The system will really fluidify and facilitate the move of the goods from Abuja all the way through Cotonou to Benin and then through Nigeria. And also when goods are coming from Nigeria to go to use the corridor, SIGMAT will facilitate.
Just as the government is stepping up its game in automation, the Seme Command is witnessing a facelift with state-of-the-art facilities, including accommodation, to boost the morale of officers and men of Nigeria Customs Service. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. Network News will continue in Abuja after this timeout.
Thank you for saying. Musa has the business news.
Thank you, Lami. Oil prices surged by around 4% on Monday after the OPEC Plus alliance opted to maintain its planned production increase for July, mirroring the hikes made in the previous 2 months. Brent crude futures had risen by 3.6% to reach $65.06 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude climbed 4.9% to $63.78. This rebound follows a decline of over 1% in both benchmarks last week. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, collectively known as OPEC Plus, announced on Saturday that they will raise output by 411,000 barrels per day in July. This marks the third straight month of identical increases as the group aims to regain market share and discipline members that have exceeded their production quotas. An estimated 17 trillion naira is said to be lost through abandoned projects across the country, spanning more than 10 years. This is as the Chartered Institute of Project Managers, backed by the Ministry of Trade and Investment, is moving to clamp down on quacks and institutions offering certification unlawfully.
In line with Mr. President's renewed hope agenda, we would carry out our legally mandated duties to regulate the project management profession for the benefit of this country, its laws, and its people.
Nigeria's equities market closed in positive territory today as investor sentiment remained upbeat across key sectors. The all-share index advanced to 112,015.95 points, reflecting renewed buying interest and a strong close for the trading day. Trading activity was robust with 17,019 deals recorded. A total of 517.95 million shares were traded, amounting to a market turnover of over 10.07 billion naira. The overall equity capitalization stood tall at approximately 70.64 trillion naira, reinforcing investor confidence in the market's resilience. Today's performance reflects positive momentum in blue-chip stocks and sustained participation by institutional investors. Market watchers will be keeping an eye on upcoming economic data and corporate earnings, which could further influence sentiment in the sessions ahead. That's a quick look at business news. Lami's back to you.
Thank you so much, Musa. Now, the federal government, through the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, has unveiled plans to ease mortgage terms for federal civil servants in Nigeria. This came to the fore as the signing of an agreement in Abuja. Neka Uko reports.
For many Nigerians, owning a home feels like chasing a mirage, as commercial mortgages often come with high interest rates and developers struggle to secure financing to build affordable houses. This is what the Murphy Real Estate Investment Fund, MREF, is trying to change by pulling in partners to ensure there is enough money to fund mortgages with low rates.
Today marks a very significant agreement, which is the coming together, a partnership between MREF and the Family Homes Funds to bring funds that allow us to be able to on-lend to Nigerians, and they can get mortgages at single digits, that's below 10%.
We're starting the project with a pilot in principal key areas of the country. We hope that this will be a proof of the concept.
We managed to raise 250 billion, coming partly from Ministry of Finance and partly from the private sector. So we as fund manager, we are managing the fund.
For now, the MOU is a bold step, but the proof will be in how many families move into homes they can call their own without breaking the bank. In Abuja, Neka Uko, NTA News.
We go for another break. Do stay. Stakeholders from across platforms are in Geneva, Switzerland, to share knowledge and trends on disaster risk management. Now, our very own Mina Daniels is there to bring us insights on the 8th Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction. Hello, Mina.
Your observation is spot on, because indeed stakeholders are already on ground here at the Geneva International Conference Center to begin identifying gaps in the implementation of the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. A multi-level conversation by critical stakeholders, including head of the UNDRR. We provide partners the opportunity to network and exchange knowledge on the implementation of the Sendai framework 2015 to 2030.
Access to early warning has improved, but on other targets like reducing the number of people affected, which means fewer houses destroyed, fewer livelihoods lost, we've not done well. Reducing economic losses, we've not done well. Reducing infrastructure losses, we've not done well. So how do we use the remaining 5 years to infuse a sense of urgency into achieving these.
Meanwhile, the World Resilience and Recovery Conference is slated to provide priority actions to strengthen disaster resilience globally. But of course, the NTA is on ground and will continue to keep you up to speed with proceedings at the global platform.
Thank you so much, Mina. Now, sports update is next with Ayo Deji.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Lami. We'll begin with football. The Super Eagles are in Moscow for their international friendly with Russia, as 18 players are in the team's camp, with the duo of Bruno Onyemechi and Olakunle Olusegun expected to join. The team will conduct their first training session on Tuesday. Due to several withdrawals and injuries, head coach Eric Schell made changes to his lineup for the match, scheduled to take place at the 78,000 capacity Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. Elsewhere, Francisco Odega is confident that the Super Falcons can secure a record-extending 10th title at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. The Super Falcons had an underwhelming performance in the previous edition, finishing in 4th place after being dethroned by South Africa's Banyana Banyana. Justin Madugu's team are preparing for the upcoming tournament, which will be held in Morocco. Now, as part of their tune-up to that tournament, they will face the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon in a friendly match at the newly renovated MKO Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta on Tuesday. Just a quick one that Novak Djokovic is through to the quarterfinal of the French Open at Roland Garros. And that's your sports. It's back to Lami.
Thank you, Ayo. Now, the Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, expressed his condolences to the government and people of Kano State, as well as the entire nation, over the tragic loss of young athletes in a fatal road accident while returning from the recently concluded National Sports Festival in Ogun State. And that's the news for today. We thank you for watching. Do have a good night and have a good week.